to the Vegas Strip. So in case you haven't noticed, we are in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. And the Las Vegas Strip area is, I guess, central Las Vegas, where you have all these casinos and kind of a Times Square type of experience. Not quite as many skyscrapers, but plenty of lights. So if you drive or ride south on 15 from Utah or from Arizona, or north on 15 from California, and you head straight to the center of Las Vegas, really close to the airport, the McCarran International Airport, I think it's called, right around where 15 intersects with 592 is the city center, or the Vegas Strip. So you're going to find Mandalay Bay, Luxor Hotel and Casino, Excalibur Hotel and Casino, the MGM Grand. Of course, everyone knows about the MGM. The New York. You saw with the Statue of Liberty from before. Then you got the Hard Rock Cafe, the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, and the Bellagio, and the Flamingo, and the Venetian, and the Mirage. It's all here. A couple of things to note about the Vegas Strip. It's kind of a New York experience in terms of there's a lot of police here, and I guess for good reason, but you definitely want to watch yourself while you're cruising through the Vegas Strip, because there are eyes everywhere that are watching you. On good days, you can find a lot of motorcyclists in various areas where they kind of hang out, and later on in this video, we're actually going to hang out with some guys, some local guys. There's a guy in a Hayabusa, unrestricted, he's got the old school Hayabusa, and some other guys there as well. As you guys probably have noticed by now, I am falling in love with this Hayabusa, which is surprising because I'm not a big bike guy, and I gotta stop saying that now because the Hayabusa Brutale 1090RR, I think that was one of the first big bikes that changed my outlook on big bikes. It's a big bike, it's definitely heavy. Not as heavy as the Hayabusa, of course, but it's a heavy bike. But you don't really feel the weight when you're riding. I mean, however they designed the bike and how the weight is distributed, it just works. And wow, the sound of that engine, and I mean, that bike is just so sexy. And the Hayabusa, I've been kind of on the fence with the looks, but, you know, since I decided to do this bike swap coming into Vegas, I don't know, it's kind of growing on me visually. I mean, it's still a big bike, and, you know, I would like something that, you know, looks a little bit more athletic, but I got no problems, you know, cruising around on this Hayabusa. I mean, beyond the performance and the riding experience, I'm digging the looks. I'll say it. I'll be honest. I'm digging the looks of the Hayabusa. And so do the ladies, as you will see later on in the day. It's a little bit sad for the Daytona, which does get a decent amount of looks. But apparently in Vegas, Sin City, the ladies like the ladies like the Vegas. The ladies like the Busa. And again, I gotta say, I made the ultimate decision, the perfect decision to swap to this bike to come over here, because if you guys have been following along with the series, you know in the beginning of this trip that I told you, you know, I've been riding a lot on the beginning of this trip, that day, the day when we headed over to Vegas, and so I already had a lot of riding done before we started this, and this was kind of the end of the day, so I was kind of really pushing my luck, but the Hayabusa made what could have potentially been a nightmare on something like the Daytona, which Daytona, you could actually surprisingly, I can do some good mileage on it, but I definitely would not want to, at the end of a day when I've been riding around for a considerable distance, I would not want to go and take on a long distance trip on the Daytona. That is absolutely ridiculous. If you're going to go on a long distance trip on the Daytona at all, that's going to be your mission. That's not going to be an afterthought. That's not going to be I'm going to ride around all morning and then later on in the day I'm going to go on a long distance trip on the Daytona. I don't think so. Hayabusa? Fine. This is the highway king. I mean, it is just so comfortable to ride long distances. I just feel like I could just ride wherever I want. I mean, it's just, I know as a person who loves motorcycles and love cars, the thought that, you know, when I look at highways and I think to myself, on the other end of this highway is fill in the blank, and I'll put something really, really far away. Like if I'm in Miami, I say this road 95 at the other end of this is New York City. And that's how I feel on Hayabusa. I feel like it's just a matter of exits away from anywhere. Alright, I'm going to stop blabbing away so you guys can hear more of this Daytona engine sound. Unfortunately, the Hayabusa stock exhaust is very quiet, so nothing much to hear there, except for the way it purrs when you start it up. But at this point, we are 4 hours and 9 minutes, or 4 hours and 30 minutes away from Beverly Hills, California. That is 277 miles. So the answer to the question of can you have your sports bike thrills on a comfortable long distance riding bike? Absolutely yes. And this is the bike. I think the Hayabusa Brutale 1090RR is a better example of a beast of a bike that is also quite the canyon carver. I mean, I had that thing up in the twisties in Italy. Wow. Rain, mountains, whatever. Now the Hayabusas, and I have to check the weights on this, but I'm pretty sure there's a good difference between the weight of the Hayabusa and the Hayabusa Brutale 1090RR. So I would definitely say that the Hayabusa is going to be the heavier bike, so that's the disadvantage between the two. But as far as comfort, now mind you, I rode the Brutale 1090 RR all over Italy, from Milano to Rome to Forte dei Marmi, and then Sant'Agata Bolognese. So I had that bike all over the country, but except for the fact that I was riding with Italian supercars or Lamborghinis, this bike would have been a better bike to have on a trip like that because of the sheer miles that I was racking up on a daily basis. I mean, it was almost like a rally. Anyway, obviously when we get back to LA, full review is coming up on this bike, and will I buy one? Well, you just have to stick around to find out. Somebody crashed?
I didn't crash. I went down. Somebody crashed and hit me.
Oh, it fell over you.
Yeah, kind of.
Mike ran into his.
Oh, shoot, you had them side by side.
Don't point it out too much, but yeah, it's over there.
Come on, you're making stories. Oh!
You're making. Oh! Yeah!
I almost missed it. Oh, look at this dude's line, man. This has never been over.
Dude, somebody should have took a picture of Willie Brandon, though. Every other bike past 2,000 is limited at like 185.
Oh, but yours.
No, at 153.
We topped it up.
I had it all the way. RPMs were all the way. And it wasn't going anymore past 153.
153.
153.
I'm glad somebody got the top off their bike today. I ain't thought that booth out.
You're watching Carlyle's Picks.